Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. 2 race meetings on the card today. We're starting off at Fairview. We've got 10 races on the card. Then we move on to the poly track at KwaZulu-Natal where we've got 8 races on the card, some of them on the poly and some on the turf. All right, let's have a look at the first meeting today. Track conditions are good at Fairview. As I said, 10 races on the card. Partly cloudy down there today, only a breeze for Port Elizabeth standards, only 20 kilometre crosswind, penetrometer 22, and the 5 metre spur at the 800 will certainly help the horses running on from behind. Now, the draws up the straight of 1,012 metre. We always say to you, middle to outsider, preferably the decent draws. And we're seeing a little bit of rain down there as well, 13 mils in the last 7 days. But when I was watching last week, they were winning right across the track. So I'm going to stick with middle to outside. It's always been good to me over the years. All right, first of 10 on the card today is up the straight of 1,000 metres. The maiden juvenile plate for the 2-year-old fillies. And number 6 is where we're going here. Quite difficult in these races. A lot of unraced horses and some of them had a gallop under the belt. But number 6, Seattle Burning. Always respect Alan Creer from the 2-year-old races. Certainly a great trainer, great conditioner of those young horses. And here's his comment. If not green, certainly has a winning chance. Top jockey Andrew Fortune aboard and priced up at 5-2. Kilala, this one's from the Gavin Smith stable. Gavin's comments was he was a little disappointed last time when having its second run over the 1,200. Showed speed up there handy and faded out. He said it'll be much better coming back to the 1,000 metres today, expecting a much better run and worth including in those trifectas at 7-1. The number 5, Marcel. Now, this is also from the Alan Creer stables. Had 2 runs under the belt, so it's had the experience, and that certainly counts for a lot. Drawn in barrier 5, not a big field here, only 9 going to post this stage. No scratchings at this time in the morning. It's put up 2 decent gallops and quite firm in the market. They're expecting to run in the trifectas at 7-1. Number 7, now this is from the Yvette Bremner stable. It had 1 run under the belt behind the very smart horse Emmy Pot, who's running later on against Open Company. Now Samunga Kamalo jumps aboard today, drawn in barrier 1. Look for improvement there, even though coming off a break of 63 days. Race 2 in the card is a maiden plate and we're travelling over the 2,400 metres. Number 2, Counts Quest firm in the market. Blinkers the cheek pieces come off today. Last time out it pulled itself to death, really gave itself no chance, faded out, beaten 5 lengths, but it's pulled up very well since that run on Monday on the 2nd of May. So the stable quietly confident of a big run from the Grant Paddock stable. Now, number 1, Message in a Bottle, where you can never leave it out the top 2 or 3. It always runs a place, but it's having its 37th start in the maidens today. Runs a decent race every week, runs in thereabouts, earns a cheque for the owners. Hard to tip it to win. It's going to pop up one day, we know that, and it's actually a favourite today at 17-10. Number 7, which is 3 Trees, 33-10 for Craig Zaki for the Tara Lang stable. Certainly a nice effort last time and not fancied in the market over the 2,200 metres. It wasn't a bad gallop there. It stayed on pretty well to run third, only beaten 2 3/4. In an open-looking race, certainly worth including. Number 8, Badger's Bell, popped it in with the Ryan Munger aboard. Jacques Stratum is certainly a very good trainer. Him and Grant Paddock are very good trainers of distance horses, so always respected. This horse has been there or thereabouts in its last 3 outings. Race 3 on the card is a maiden plate and we're going over the 1,600 metres. Number 1, Road to Indy, very short indeed, and you can understand why. Been running up here in Johannesburg at the Vaal and Turfentine and has some very solid form indeed. It's only had the 6 runs, but have a look at its form. Only beaten a couple of lengths here and there. Very short. You're going to get around about even money, hopefully, drawn in barrier 3. Now, it depends there. It's having a second run after gelding. It's having its first run for the Tara Lang stable, but it is coming off a short break of 29 days. Are there dangers in the race? Well, Dory Sham stable, you've got to respect her. She's having a cracking season, and she's got Andrew Fortune to ride for her here, so take note of that. Not drawn the best in barrier 9, but certainly was a very good first-up effort from relocating from Johannesburg. Put up a cracking run last time when there was money around for it at 22-10. Looked like it was going to go and win that race, and just got caught late, going down a length and a quarter. Number 2, Sun Power with JP van der Merwe. I think it's worth popping in here. It's had 2 runs back from a gelding, and they are in Cape Town, so we know the Cape Town form pretty strong, needs a lot of respect here, priced up at 13-2. Number 4, Russian Archer, certainly ran on last time, and it's lightly raced, only having its 4th career start today. I'm looking for more improvement from the Dorisham stable. Sundeli can't jump support 11-1 and gets a decent draw in barrier 2. Race 4 on the card is a conditions plate, and it's for the fillies and the mares. Over the 1,600 metres, and number 9, we tipped this to you last time. I remember we liked this one, and I put up a decent gallop. Now, I think it's a nice price today. I reckon we're going to go around 7 or 8 to 1 at the jump. Teagle jump support and drawn nicely in barrier 4. It's got a nice light galloping weight of 52 kilos. Now, number 6 is going to have a lot of supporters as well. No, that's Mirror the Moon, comes off a short break of 28 days. Callan Murray, this young kid, doesn't claim anymore, and he's going to be a boy that goes right through to divisions for the jockeys. Certainly put up a decent gallop last time when they put it on the poly track. Now comes back to the turf today, and look for more improvement there. Number 5, With Bated Breath. Charles and Glorvu priced up at 4-1. Now has to overcome a little bit of a whitish draw in barrier 9, but Charles has been aboard this horse in its last 2 outings, has put up 2 decent gallops. 2 starts ago, wasn't fancied at 20-1 and actually ran on pretty well over the mile, only beaten 2 3/4. Then they stretched its legs last time over the 1,900 metres. It got out in front and tried to make every post a winner, and certainly wasn't disgraced there, only going down half a length. Number 2, Sunset Trip. Now, this is your favourite at the moment, Samunga Kamal. It's won 2 of its last 3 starts. You've got to give it all the respect. I wonder if the handicapper is not starting to catch up with it, but certainly in top form from the one of the top trainers in the country, and that's Justin Snaith. Here we go, race 5 on the card. We're over the 1,400 metres. Low-rated race, this one, a merit-rated 63 handicapper. Number 2, Stir It Up. I'm going with a bit of each-way value here at 6-1. Now, they're bringing it back to the 1,400 metres, so I suppose there's a little bit of a question mark there. Probably better over it a little bit further, but I think it's a very open race here, and I'd rather take my chances with a place bet or a little bit of each way. Number 6, Wow Holiday, the Argentine-bred horse, priced up at 9-2. Now, this has cracked a decent draw in barrier 3 and certainly stayed on quite nicely last time over the 1,400 metres. But the run they're going to go back to is 2 starts ago. That was in March over the mile. Got well out of its ground, was giving him 10 lengths at the 800 and actually ran on strongly there. Now, that was drawn 4 out of 14. Cracks another draw here, no, decent draw here in barrier 3, and also value if you fancy it, 9-2. Throw in Knox as well. They've taken the blinkers off with Ryan Munger aboard, drawn out in barrier 8. Another horse that isn't finishing too far behind them in an open-looking race certainly goes into those trifectas. Number 7, Bordered in Grey. Now, it's had about 5 starts since relocating from Cape Town. Disappointing 2 starts ago, but then put a much better effort last time. Always raced up there nice and handy, but had to come from a wide draw. They used it up early to get around the field and just ran out of steam late. Race 6 on the card is a Fillies and Mares 61 handicap. Low-rated race, this one. They're always tough, and it's over the 1,400 metres. Leaning toward the Alan Creer stable, and if you're going to follow a stable and jockeys today, I think Alan Creer and Andrew Fortune might be the right combination. Now, all the horses in the race I've tipped, they're all drawn out pretty wide, and this one's drawn out in barrier 13. Will need a lot of luck from there, but its form is solid. Won a nice race 2 starts ago, and then straight out the maidens. Certainly wasn't disgraceful, only beaten a length and a half. Now, I'm going to take a chance, but don't go mad on this one. We just need luck from the draw. Same can be said about number 1, Hazy's Daisy, 33-10. Another one drawn out wide in barrier 11. Certainly another one who'll need luck from there. Well, let's keep going with the wide draws, why don't we? And number 7, Latira, drawn out even wider in barrier 15. But, you know, with you looking at these horses, they've got the form in the race. Whoever gets the luck and running, top jockey aboard Samunga Kamalo should be right there. All right, number 4, Brooks Montana, 11-2, JP van der Verve, also drawn out wide in barrier 9. There is a form update from Monday. Ran 5th, only beaten just under 2 lengths. Wasn't much money around for it at 12-1. Very open race, looks pretty tough indeed. Here we go, race 7 on the card. We're up the straight of 1,200 metres. All right, it's a Pinnacle Stakes, a nice race, this one in Volclear. It's hard to go past it, and I reckon this is a very generous price. Got to carry 62 kilos. It's a big weight, but don't worry, he carried it 4 starts ago and went on to win quite comfortably by 3/4 of a length. Samungu Kamala aboard from the powerful Tara Lang stable. I'm sticking with her stable as well, and I'm throwing in her other runner here, number 3, Unannounced. Craig Zaki jumps aboard at 13-2. Now this one's drawn down the inside in barrier 4, which is normally not the best draw, but there's only 10 runners in this field. All right, trifecta time, and Villa de Lago certainly put up a good gallop last time and certainly caught the eye when carrying a big weight of 61 kilos and got up on the post to win by a short head. All right, don't leave out Tara Lang's other runner here, which is number 5. That's coming off a break of 70 days, and it's quite firm in the market. Take note of that. Drawn nice on the outside in barrier 10. Strong jockey aboard, Wayne Agrella. Right, here's a good race on the card. It's a feature race. It's the Glen Eyre Trophy, a listed event over the 3,200 metres, or the 2 miles if the old school like me. Number 1, Crown of Gold, won this race last year, beating Paddy O'Reilly, getting up to win by a length in the shadows of the post. Out and out stay. It'll probably run about 5 kilometres, this horse. It's unbelievable, terrific stayer, and I think it'll be very hard to beat here. Now, Renata Duplessis sends out number 3 here with Richard Ferree aboard, priced up at 15-10. Now, he only carries a lightweight of 53 versus Crown of Gold, who has to carry the top weight here of 60 kilos. And it'll be interesting to see how these two fight it out, and I think they both will. You'll see that Oso Modus loves to go out in front, and with that light rate, it's certainly going to make Crown of Gold carry 60 kilos. Lucky Gambler's not out of it with only 52 kilos on the back. Expect this horse to drop out towards the back. It's only a small field of 6, and it'll certainly be running on at the death. Thrown in number 6. You can pick anyone you like after this because they've got no form. I've thrown in number 6, Familiar Chat from the Jacques Stratum stable, because he's a good trainer of stayers and he's got a decent jockey aboard, JP van der Merwe, priced up at 18-1. Race 9 on the card is a Fillies and Mares 68 handicap, travelling over the 2,000 metres. And, well, we've got a guy who works for us here. His name's Garth, and he's always telling us he's got big bucks. And I remember this, we were laughing about it in the studio, and this one got up to arrive last time. So maybe you can make it 2 in a row from the Alan Creer stable. As I said to you early in the day, the stable going well. Andrew Fortune back in top form at the moment. I think it'll be hard to beat from barrier 4. But certainly number 1, Jam Tart, the Australian bred, well, he's coming off a break of 98 days, also from the Alan Creer stable. Now, these two are both just about joint favourites at the moment. This one has Charles and Glover aboard. I'd rather go with Andrew Fortune, certainly a stronger jockey. Number 9, Hazel J at 9-1 with Richard Ferree aboard. Now, it's going to be 3.5 kilos better off today to big bucks for only a 3 lengths beating. Now, this horse normally drops out of the field and will certainly be running on strongly. And with that false rail today out quite a way, I think it'll be running on quite nicely. I've thrown in the 12 as well, and this one's at 35-1. Now, here's a comment from the Dorrie Sham stable. They're looking for this sort of trip on the turf, and they're expecting a nice run. Drawn well in barrier 3. I reckon it's worth putting into your trifectas and quartets. Could certainly help them pay. Here we go, the lucky last race 10 on the card. It's up the straight of 1,000 metres. Fillies and Mares 60 handicap, and number 4, Emmy Pop. We've got a 2-year-old taking on the older horses now. She ran in the East Cape Nursery last time out, and she wasn't disgraced there, taking on some real strong horses. She won her first 2 outings, both over the 1,000 metres. I know it's always pretty tough, the 2-year-olds taking on the older horses this time of year, but I think she's way above average. Now, watch out for the 11 as well. Certainly going to be a bit of a runner here from the Cornet Smith stable. Had a run on Monday, showed an improved run there, only beaten 4 1/4 lengths, and they said this is their best runner for the day. As I said, 3rd run after rest. Pop it in at 10-1. All right, number 14, also from the Alan Creer stable, Andrew Fortune. He jumps aboard here, drawn in barrier 14, nicely on the outside. It's a pretty consistent horse, this. It's always there and thereabouts. Doesn't finish too far away, and worth including at nearly 6-1. If you're needing one more, well, certainly number 2, Satima. This is from the Tara Lang stable. Now, this has got the Cape Town form, and I think it's a pretty generous price at 9-1. Drawn nicely on the outside, and look at that form there. Running against much stronger in Cape Town. Certainly might be a bit of a chance here if it doesn't need the run. Yeah, looks a nice competitive card. Glen Eyre Trophy, always a good race over the 2 miles, and certainly looking for a good race there. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the boys and girls here, we certainly wish you a very successful punting afternoon.